Well, I might as well do a review on it because it looks like my extra dwarf pak choy. I think it's considered an ornamental extra dwarf pak choy, but this is supposed to bulb up on the bottom and get like a nice bulb on it, and it didn't really do that for me. Maybe I planted it too late in the year for it, but as you can see here, it's starting to get seeds on it, and that's going to be what it is. I'm going to save the seed for it, obviously, and that's one of the problems I have with pak choy or bok choy in this part of the country, is it really wants to bolt very easily, and it's really hard to get this one down right. I have to try growing it first thing in the year, first season, and see how it does very, very early spring with colder weather. But this warmer weather at this time of the year with the sun going back, it just wants to bolt. So, but anyway, we can still do a taste test on this, and I will pick one of the leaves off. Hopefully I can get one of these lower leaves. It's a very beautiful little plant. I really, really like this plant. Look at it. Isn't that cool? It's just a shame that it's bolting. I just wish it headed off nice, and I'll try bringing it in for the winter, one or two of these, and see how it does throughout the winter. Maybe it'll stay alive, and I could just plant it next year. I don't mind it bolting and getting seed from it, so I really don't mind that, but I do want it to head too, so I can do a proper review on it. But as you can see, that's what the stem looks like. That's very flat. This is the leaf. Now, this is kind of an older leaf, so it might not taste as good as, say, a top fresh leaf. But there's really not a whole lot on here to pick off and to eat, so not sure what to say. But I guess you'd have to pick the whole plant and eat it in one shot. It's not really worth me doing, though I might do that with one of these, just because I'm not going to bring these all in for the winter anyway. And I do got one at seeding, and I definitely want to keep so I could get seed from it. But all right, let's turn you around and give it a bite. All right, guys, here we are. And we have a leaf from the extra dwarf bok choy or pak choy. And that can be spelt a couple of different ways, but they're both basically means the same thing. So here it is. That's the stem. That's the leaf. And let's give it a go. Now, in general, bok choy and pak choys generally have like their own kind of a flavor. It kind of tastes like a brassica, but they do have their own distinctive green flavor. So, if you've never eaten pak choy or bok choy, you really got to have to eat that to really understand what I'm talking about. But it has a nice, very mild flavor on it, and it tastes like it would be best if you eat this either fresh, when the greens are fresh off the top, and you'd probably be best off if you're going to eat them raw that way, or just simply cook them like you would do any other, brassica or any kind of that kind of a vegetable. You'd want to cook them like collards or kales. You want to cook them. You can eat those raw, but it's recommended you cook them to get some of the oxalic acids out of them and stuff like that. But this one, it tastes pretty good raw. You're going to need a lot of them, so if you do plan on growing it, I would recommend growing a whole patch of them so you get enough of it to at least make a few salads with it. It's a very small plant. It's why it's called extra dwarf. It's not a very large variety, so if you really like the taste of bok choy, I probably would recommend you go with a regular size bok choy or pak choy rather than these extra dwarf ones. I grew the extra dwarf ones mainly because I want to see if I can winter them over and get them to seed and things like that. But the taste is pretty good. It has a nice mild brassica flavor to it. The stem was a little bit on the tangy side, a little bit. But in general, there was no sweetness in it. Tastes like a very mild type of a brassica. But again, bok choy, pak choy, they have their own kind of flavor profile. So you really got to experiment with that to really understand what bok choy and pak choy tastes like. All right, so that was just a quick video for the extra dwarf pak choy ornamental version. By the way, this is considered an ornamental. If I get seeds from this, I will definitely, if I get enough seeds, of course, I will definitely offer them online, and you'll be able to pick seeds up there. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Alright, so I wanted to give you a view of my extra dwarf pak choi that is flowering, and I wanted to show you what the flowers look like because I don't know how far this is going to go before it either dies, or I will bring it in for the winter just to see how it does indoors. If it keeps flowering and giving me seeds, then that's a great thing. But unfortunately, that's bolting. This one's probably going to bolt next. It's just not enough sunlight. It's the end of the year, and it seems like it bolts really pretty easily, to be honest with you. So you really want to get this started early in the season.